I'm Alan, also known as McLaren2009, and today I'm back playing Derail Valley for the first time in months. And I don't even know what's going on. Alright, so I haven't streamed for a very long time. Why is the... Alright. Alright, the train brake is applied for reasons. I mean, in real life that's how it works, but... well, that's not good. Where's the 282? Like... Yeah, whatever. Like, you've got the tender, but you don't have the, engine. Alright, brakes released. Brakes released. No. Alright. Okay, so, the one thing that I do remember from the last time that I played, I had gotten very frustrated with the, lack of, or the number of devices you're allowed to have. So I found a mod that allows me to install more. I haven't used the mod yet, but it's there. Okay. Now I don't hear the echo as bad. Alright. So, let's get a job and get started. Now, if I was really feeling dedicated to the cause, I could go over there to my little tool shed, and I could find more device, or get the rest of my devices and start installing things again. But I might do that offline. Oh, this is wrong. I have a mod that fixed that, but it's very clearly not working. Now that's a valuable train. Empty, flat car going to the machine factory. Alright. farm. That's not particularly valuable. The thing with the logistics ones is City South, Food Factory. Unload, load, but it's going to the Food Factory. I mean, nothing's really jumping out at me. Let's go see what's going on let's go check out the military base. I'm actually kind of curious what the next thing that's going to get added to this game is. Weird. Alright. Alright, what do we got in here? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this. Let me slide back away from my desk. You're not likely to break anything playing this game, but I have some other ones that's not always true. Is one of those things that I legitimately wish that I was recording. The first time I played the game Contagion VR, because a zombie game. Pulled out what I thought was a gun, and then shot the zombie. And then, instead of bullets coming out, I get a dart, like a little rubber dart. It sticks, like, right on the zombie's head. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, that, and the other one. Alright. Okay. Now, the thing is that by doing this, the logistics jobs are going to go to some weird places. But that's life. Okay, so we need the freight haul. Alright, this one's going to be up front. Alright, how about the other one? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, get our engine set up. Alright. Brakes cut in. Breakers are up. Okay. That brake is applied. That brake's applied. That one's not. Oh, that's gonna suck. Alright, so here's your problem. This is my remote engine, right? Oh, wait, no, we're good. Never mind. I was thinking that this was like the only DP engine that I had, but no, I've got 3. But, you know what? Let's save some fuel. Alright. Okay. That should be dim-ish. Yeah, dim. Alright, cool. Make sure we're lined out. are. It's just crazy because we have a mother slug and a DH4. All three of them together are not as strong as the two DE6s, but that's our DP consist. So, we're going to grab this first. Probably find it first. Yeah, 46. 46. And 46. Oh, that's the problem. There. Good. Good. Not. Oh, perfect. Good enough. You know what? Let's go in here. And let's turn this up. Okay. Now we've actually got lights. Alright. Now the thing is, this one's going to be the very back of the train. Except this isn't going to even remotely require DP. So we might grab another one. Maybe see if something's going to like the farm or something like that. That might be the thing to do. I thought I saw one going to the farm. And if that's the case, we're going to go right past it. Yeah, I figured I hadn't streamed for a very long time. I think somebody said it was like 5, 6 months or something like that. And I decided that this seemed like the game to play. So here we are. Now the thing is, I don't actually need to have like both the D6 and the H4 running. I can just have one of them. Close enough. Like, I don't actually need them both. Like, this entire crane isn't even gonna be heavy. But we're gonna use it anyway because, sure, why not? Now my plan is I'm going to take this over to the like main through track in like the G area and just set it there. All right. Good. Good. All right. We go over here. We have continuity. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay. Marker, marker. Okay. The funny thing is, you absolutely do this in real life. Even with the remote. See, the thing with the real remote controls is that they're essentially ambidextrous. Like, the controls are so, like, easy to work with. Like, the speed selector is over here. Me, personally, I prefer to be on, like, the right side of the car so that my hand can control... so that my free hand can control the speed selector. But, even if I was on the left side and my left hand is free, I can easily reach across and grab the speed selector. So, it works out. Now, granted, in real life, I would have approached that a little bit different. Like, I actually would have stopped just past the switch before I threw it back. But in this case, I'm not doing it that way. But an important thing to note is, like, you learn early on in this game that you don't need, like, power everywhere. Like, even if you set it at, like, notch 1, you're still using you're still using power, you're still using diesel, so you burn through a lot more fuel. You actually can coast a lot more. And it was something that was I didn't understand when I first started playing this game. Alright. Okay. Now, we gotta go and grab this switch. Good, and that one's going towards D and G. And that's going towards G. Okay. Let's kill the power real quick. City South. We're not going there. Food factory, goods factory, that's even worse. City West. Wait a second, no, that's Sawmill. Okay, that's not what we want. actually, that might be exactly what we want. Because here's the thing. Normally, I would go out this way, and I would come out this way, and then go around here and bypass the farm completely. You just go down this way. But if instead we make a right, or we make a left, and we go down towards the sawmill, I don't know, I think that sounds stupid. Yeah, because going to the farm is going to put us in a really stupid place. The only way we'd make that work is if we went the normal route and went up towards the steel mill, going through that really steep frickin' curve. And pull into this way. Like, I mean, we could do them both. Sawmill and City West. Yeah, let's do it. Just fuck it. Alright. So, the way we're going to set this up is, this is 644 tons, this is 133. This is going to be the very front, immediately behind the engine, then this, then the DP, then all the stuff going to the machine factory. Alright. Now, where's that train? Where's my engine? Pro tip, don't just leave a train to its own devices. That's how you make movies. Yeah, just let the train, let the train just stop wherever it feels like. That won't cause any problems or come back to bite us, like, ever. Now, bear in mind that in real life I would not be on top of the car. I have been to a place where they used to do that, but that was only coal cars, and as far as I'm aware, they're not allowed to do it anymore. But even when I was there, I didn't do it. It was funny because they told me that I needed to get the proper experience, but I wasn't having it. I was like, no, you guys can keep that. I'm going to stay on the side where I can jump off when something goes wrong. Now, the thing about logistics halls is they don't go to, like, inbound tracks, they go to storage tracks. So there's a possibility that the track might not be empty. There's also a possibility that they might not even be together. Like, you could be pulling from multiple tracks and just hoping for the best. Oh, that's actually handy. Alright. And this is City West. And that's an E-track. Alright. Which one is this? Okay. So, that one is going here. Okay, so there is our train. That is how we're building it. So, oh wait, no, that was freaking stupid. What I wanted to do, actually, you know what? It was fine right there. What I wanted to do was go right here to this point. We're not fouling anything. Okay. Now we go over here. Disconnect this. Good enough. E70. Okay. Okay, let's go over to E-Track. Oh. That. There, now it's just like real life. Now the funny part is, I mean, other than getting run over, no, that I've said this hundreds of times at this point. The beacon goes on the remote engine. This isn't the remote engine. How about this one? Where's this? E11. Alright, I might need to just so that it doesn't die on me, I might need to go and recharge my remote real quick. And good to go. Oh no. Alright. Okay. So, now that we've effectively messed that up completely, let's get started. Alright, so that's going right and that's going left. We gotta go to E11. Am I crazy? 9, 10. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, so E11, E7. Okay, so eleven, 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay. Okay, now we go up here. That is way faster than in real life. Now, what makes it really interesting is in order to coast a real-life remote locomotive, you have to specifically set the speed selector to coast. Because if you set it to, like, a speed, it'll just automatically control the throttle and independent brake to maintain whatever speed you selected. So if you just wanted to coast and not use fuel, you actually have to specifically tell it to coast. Whereas this game does not have that problem. But in Derail Valley, instead of having a speed selector, we actually have a throttle. So the thing is that once we get to the you know what? Putting those on the bottom, on the back, is a really dumb idea. We're gonna shuffle some things around. Yeah, we're gonna have to shuffle some things around. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the military order at the front of the stuff going to the machine factory. Okay. Because we want easy access to it. And if we have it at the back, that means it's going to end up in whatever... It's going to end up where we don't want it. And that's not a good idea. We want easy access to it. So, as of right now, when we're building the train, we want it west out. Yeah, west out. So we even want it in front of these cars. The funny thing is, I've actually done that in real life. Accidentally applied the brake too soon and came to a grinding halt. Done it. Now the funny thing is that when working with like remotes like I do, when we're doing like our normal job of just like sorting cars, we don't use air. So it's no surprise that I have the least experience working with air. So when we actually have to hook up the brake pipe to like drill out a shop car or something like that, I'm prone to make a few mistakes just simply because I haven't done it all that much. So, we need to go to G1, G2. Okay, I didn't do it in the most brain-dead way possible. Because this is the cut that I actually need to spot, because this is going to the machine factory. This is going to City West. The rolling resistance is just crazy. Alright. Alright. I will say that doing this part is kind of annoying with the remote. Because, like, when you're working with an engineer and they're actually up in the cab, they can look at the gauges and tell you when the brake pressure is restored and it's safe to knock off the handbrakes. When you're working with a remote control, the only way to know that brake pressure is restored is to either go onto the engine and look at the gauge or press the status button, and the radio message will tell you if brake pressure is restored. So then it just becomes a question of, did you wait long enough? Question is, did you wait long enough? That's it. Now, when it's like 6 cars, like it is right here, that won't take particularly long to charge up. But when it's like 100 cars, that's going to take a minute. So you just end up sitting there, like, periodically pressing the status update button to see if anything's changed. Because it's really fun when the system has like a pressure fault, so it hasn't even been charging the brakes this whole time. You're just sitting there waiting for nothing. Because if the system's working perfectly, then you're good. And it'll just automatically tell you when it's charged. Let's see. That is LH62. We got really lucky. It's not buried. And this is LH16. Alright. So, our marker is installed. Since I haven't played this game for a long time, I haven't really mentioned that I've considered doing like a full reset, like starting over back from square one. I'll probably do it around the time of whatever the next update is, but I'm considering doing a full reset because I am entirely convinced that the museum engines aren't actually in my game. Like, I'm missing 3 engines, but I am completely convinced that they're not here. Like, I've been to every station. I've checked all of the places that apparently they're supposed to spawn, but I can't find them. So I'm just assuming that they're just gone. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just like a skill issue on my part. But I can't find them anywhere. So what the hell? Now what do these weigh? I mean, these box cars are 20 tons. So it's not too crazy to put these up front. It's not like we're hauling a flat car and just hoping for the best. our flat car is going to be all the way on the rear. Oh, I made this way harder than it needs to be. Alright, so check this out. So the way that this is playing out is these are going to be behind those. Those are going to be behind the DP. These are going to be in front of the DP. So I got to do a convoluted mess to get those in front of those two engines. Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. Alright. Damn it. This is why AAR knuckles are so much easier to deal with. You don't have to worry about this bullshit. The funny thing is, these empty box cars weigh more than those containers. Is that true? Not technically, no. Yeah, because each one of those box cars is approximately 20 tons. Between the flat car and the acetylene, this is 30 tons. So, I'm wrong. Again. No, come on. Did I never tighten it up? That might be part of the problem. Alright, so... Alright, how am I gonna do this? You know what, let's kick those cars. I don't think this is gonna work. Alright. So, hear me out. Alright. This is also a no. Now, the reason why you don't do this is because the air in those brakes are bottled. Hold up. Anyway. So yeah, those brakes, the air is bottled. Like you'd never leave air bottled. Because that means that the air, it means that the air for the brakes is released. So if the handbrake fails, it won't have any brakes at all. So yeah, if the handbrakes fail, if the handbrake fails, there won't be any brakes. Really bad. Not fun for the whole family. But the saving grace is that we're in a yard, a track is tied down, we kicked the cars into a secured track. Now, it's not in the clear on that track, so we're breaking a different rule, but an argument can be made that these cars aren't going anywhere. Okay. No. Okay. There's that, and there's that. Okay. So, now this is going to be interesting. You know, I might just have to pull out the entire track and put it on here before I go and grab that. Wait a minute. accidentally did the stupidest thing. These cars have to be in front of these cars. The hits just keep coming. You know what? That's going on the board. Yeah. That one's going on the board. So basically, I am once again going to have to shift around everything because I did it stupid. Because these are 41 tons. These are 46 tons. Yeah. I mean, it's a negligible difference, but the point is, these are getting dropped off first, so they need to be at the front. Yeah. It's all wrong. But it's kind of par for the course. Now, in like another perspective, it's probably for the best that we're putting these cars immediately behind the DP. The reason being that these cars are very explosive. Like, acetylene is unstable as fuck. So, if I had to go out on a limb, I would say that those probably can't be next to an engine, occupied or otherwise. Now, you can kind of hear it. Like, you can hear the reservoir getting filled. So you know when the brakes are charged. kind of. In real life, it's not nearly that obvious. Alright, so we're going to take out everything. Go back and grab that one car. Are we like in the upside down? Like, is the sun setting in the east? Because that would be kind of wild. That's always a fun sound to hear. Yeah, it's another one of those, like, it's gonna trigger an emotional response sort of deals. Start having flashbacks to when I was like 10. Alright. Are you serious? Well, that's going on the board. Alright, so, just so we're clear on what happened, I need to get that car that's over there on 2. I need this switch. I literally stopped right here. Which, it's worth noting, with a crane and actual tonnage, you're not supposed to stop with just the independent brake. Basically, like, the independent brake only applies the brake on the locomotives. Granted, it applies the brake on all the locomotives, but it applies it on none of the cars. The reason why that's important is because all of this weight, it's going to keep moving. And since none of the cars are slowing down, they're going to keep moving at the same speed they were moving before until friction and rolling resistance causes them to stop or they hit something. Well, conveniently enough, now the engines are stopping. So the thing they're going to hit is the engine. Now, if we were going faster, that could potentially cause a derailment. But we're going pretty slow, so the consequences are relatively minimal. But you can still break the engine when the slack rolls in. So if you go slow enough, you don't have to worry about it too much anyway. But going at speed, that'll pretty much instantly break everything. Not fun for the whole family. oddly enough. So basically, I have built this train in the dumbest way possible. And I've made some interesting mistakes that I would not recommend doing in real life. Another fun thing that's happened in real life is with my job on the actual railroad, I have now been through a real derailment. So that's tons of fun. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. The dumbest thing about it is the next day I kind of had to laugh about it because I was like, oh, so that's what an emergency brake application looks like on a moving train. There's a lot of sparks. Then the other thing that I noticed is you don't hear that distinct pinging sound when the track comes out from under you. The ping is just when the car or engine jumps off the rail. So the car removes itself from the rail, not the rail removing itself from the car. Different cause. So no sound. Or maybe I did hear the sound and I just didn't notice it because the locomotive I was on was in the process of rolling into the dirt. Alright. Make sure we didn't accidentally break our little marker. Done that in real life too. But that's actually a lot easier to do. Nope. Don't need more throttle. Alright, so now we're actually going to do the process of spotting the DP and finishing up the rest of the train. And then we're going to line the route, get everything set up, and then we're going to get underway. But we got to shift around these cars first. Which is tons of fun. Alright, we got that lined up. Alright. So, we shove this in here, but the kicker is we want the engines to be like here, give or take. The reason being, we gotta put those 3 cars somewhere in order to grab these. So, it's gonna be a whole thing. Oh, and then it's gonna be really freaking stupid. The reason I say that is because after we make the set off at the sawmill with the wood scrap, we're going to have those 3 containers, the DP, and then the rest of the train. This is hands down the dumbest train imaginable. The real question is, do I even definitively know if this train will fit on this track? The answer is no. So we're breaking every rule today. Safety third in the Derail Valley. Just for the sake of argument, let's go over here. I mean, the good news is we've got headroom lined out, but the bad news is, no, the train does not fit. Alright. Awesome. And let's apply this right here. See, just for the sake of argument, you go down here. We don't have a clearance point. Or we don't have a marked clearance point. However, you'll notice that we're well past it. As it turns out, this was not the tactical decision. But such is life, I suppose. Now, we go over here. Okay. Closed that one, we opened this one. actually not. Alright. Now, technically, the thing you're supposed to do is one of these has to be cut in, but since we're about to dump the train anyway... But since we dumped the train anyway, you look over here. Brake pipe's on 0. Train's in emergency. So with the brake not being cut in, all that means is that there's nothing to recharge the brakes. Now, as far as like how it works in real life versus the game, in real life, the switch point is pretty much right on the target. And the reason being, like, when it moves the rail, it has the most leverage away from where it's actually bending. So, this being closer to the focal point, this would probably be a lot harder to physically throw it compared to what I'm used to dealing with. Alright. And of course, we fucked it up again. Okay. And as you can see, nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Because there's still air in the pipe. Why is there still air in the pipe? Because we fucked up and bottled the air. I mean, we didn't fuck up, we intended to do it. Doesn't make it any less of a bad idea. Actually makes it worse because we intended to break the rule. It makes it worse because we did it intentionally. So that's pretty fun, I guess. And then it gets even better because This is the brake that was applied. So we just brought in the slack because we didn't even check to see if this track was good. As it turns out, it wasn't. Because with the other times, I would move the brakes to being on the end that I'm working on, but we didn't do it that way. But oh well. Alright. Now, realistically, this is probably going to be sticking out farther than it's supposed to. But I kind of suck at judging distance, so maybe it'll fit. And maybe it'll be fouling this track. But we're not overly worried about it because we're not using that track. I think I tested that. The thing I was wondering is, can you, in-game, like, hang on to that? And I'm pretty sure you can. Like, there's not even a sill step, but you can hang on to this. Yeah. What am I hanging on to? What am I standing on? I'm just like strongman pulling up with like one arm. I can totally do that in real life. Alright, we're gonna put it in the hole again. No, stop that. Alright, you know what? Let's go in here and let's dim the front lights. There. Still white, but but it'll be fine. I mean, it won't be fine if we slam into that car, but... And going 7 is fast enough to start breaking things in this game. But less than 5 is not. Oh, we actually ended up being mostly clear. You could argue whether or not that's 4.5 cars, but we're nowhere near the collision point. It's like we're nowhere near where you would collide if you were sending cars down that track. They'd be well clear of this. So, functionally, it's perfectly clear. Let's hop down here. Okay. This, open that. And let's knock off some brakes. And then we actually have to go up here and we have to center this. And there's a reason for that. This thing's a little heavy. Sometimes it would be pretty handy if tracks were actually marked with little signs like this in real life, but they're just not. Especially if you're in like a really big, complicated yard that has literally 1,000 tracks on it. isn't one on this. Oh, that's disturbingly realistic. So, because of some recent events, I don't particularly like these flat gondolas in real life. And the reason for that is they are extremely beat up in real life. Like, some of them don't have grab irons, don't have a sill step. The top of it's like caved in because specifically the MOW ones, they like run over it with an excavator. Like they literally drive on the top of the car. So they're bent, beaten up. Maybe one out of every four will actually have like a platform that you can cross over. And then the ones that it's like the ones that do have a platform, it probably doesn't have any grab irons. You can't climb on it even if you wanted to. So your only option is to get a brake stick. And then if the company you work for is kind of cheap and they don't want to give you a brake stick, you're just kind of screwed. You just walk up and down the train until you find a place that you can cross over, and then you walk back and hope you go to the right place. Makes it really fun when you go to knock off the brakes. And then that is also annoying because, like, some of these, like, it'll have, like, a very not articulated, that's the wrong word, but it'll have, like, a drawbar that can basically, like, stretch out, so you can't get the hose to line up, and then the angle cock is, like, way over there, and then, wouldn't you know it, that thing's bent too, so you have to climb over just to be able to open the angle cock because you can't reach it from the knuckle. It's a pain in the ass. So bottom line is I just generally don't like those. Okay. Alright. Breakers up. Receive. Don't know why I have it on 3, but fuck it. You're right here. Alright. Receive. Boosting. Okay. Okay, now we need this. And we need this. Going left, going right, going left. Yeah, going left. Right. Wait, no. Okay. Now, in theory, that should be set. Alright. Let's set that right there. Nope. Alright. Here we go. Now let's get this borderline brain dead train to the sawmill. Alright. Here we go. Now, I probably could have set up the alerter, but I guess I just wasn't feeling it. That's the switch indicator. Alright. Here we go. Wouldn't it be kind of funny if by updating my mod folder, like all 3 of the mods that I use, it deactivated them and that's why the booklet organizer wasn't working? How are we looking? Fuel. We're doing fine. most of this train is empty, so it's not particularly heavy. But we're still losing speed. But this eastern slope is a little rough. Missed a switch. Because we're not going to City South. That's rude. Okay. Let's dial it back a little bit. We want to keep it well under 40. Because that's the speed limit for most of this. Gets a little bit better when we're up in this area, but we aren't there yet. So here we go. I keep hoping that one day I'll look out the window and I'll see one of the 3 missing museum engines, but so far no luck. But to be fair, if I did see it down there, that would be like the ultimate have I just been blind this whole time? In which the answer would be absolutely yes. And on the other side, if my mods aren't working, that would mean that even if I took the time to add all of the gadgets and stuff, if the mod's not operational, they're just going to get unscrewed like they were getting before. Which is why I got the mod in the first place. Alright, now this one, we gotta go left. Problem in this area is we're pretty much exclusively like going uphill, so if you kill the throttle completely, you're just gonna roll back. You're not gonna coast uphill. That's just not happening. I mean, I also haven't played in VR for a very long time. So it's probably for the best to start off with this one specifically, because this was my first VR game that I could play for hours without getting sick. So that makes it the perfect one to ease into it a bit. And now we're going down. So approximately 10 seconds-ish, you can start using the dynamic brake. Modern locomotives have a little computer that it knows when it can safely switch between power and dynamic, so you can just move the handles wherever. I mean, that's not the best way to do it, but you don't have to worry about it. Older locomotives, like these ones, you have to keep track yourself, because immediately switching between power and dynamic can potentially damage the traction motors. So, not a good idea. Those are kind of expensive. And a pain in the ass to replace. But we're just coasting right now. Now, I'm pretty sure this part is pretty much all downhill until we get to the sawmill. But I don't remember because I haven't gone that way for a while. Although, because I didn't exactly make a good decision, or, I mean, it said it was fully charged yesterday, but that's clearly not the case. Now that I've got it on and running, it's like, oh wait, we weren't at 100%, it's actually at like 50%. Well, now my right-hand controller is only at 25% battery, so there's a good chance I might not actually be able to make any of these deliveries today. So I might actually just get to the sawmill, tie it down, and probably call it there. It's only 2.5 hours right now, but the simple truth is I'm under 30% battery on the controller for my dominant hand. So I'm going to use that one for everything, so it's only going to make things worse. So it kind of sucks, but it's whatever. All the, like, tips and videos and things say you want to stream for at least 2 hours. So I've met that criteria. So it's whatever. Plus, I haven't streamed for a while, so nobody in their right mind is expecting me to come out of the gate and do like a 24-hour stream. Plus, I gotta work tomorrow anyway. Alright. What? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, we're going left. Right? Wouldn't it be funny if I just accidentally, like, messed up royally? I'm pretty sure this is the way I'm going. Yeah, and then this is going to go under the bridge. Yeah, we're in the right place. Oh well. If we get there, we get there. If we don't, oh well. We'll figure it out. I thought it was downhill. That is clearly not the case. Maybe it's like generally downhill, but like that little section is uphill. I don't remember the terrain all that well. Like I said, I haven't played this game for a little while. Because we're going to the Sawmill and City West. Ooh. Yeah, let's put on a bit more. Why is that going there? A bit more still. Alright. Now, the thing is that with like an engine like this, using the dynamic brake, and then if I applied the air like I just did, that would have killed the dynamic brake. Only like a modern like AC unit can use them both together. Alright, now this next one, it should be left. Good. And then we gotta be under 30 anyway for this turn. Now that's crazy. Like they put the speed limit sign there, and then they put the speed limit sign there. Like it's the exact same thing in both places. Why? Now it's another 10 seconds before I can start applying power, which I'm about to need because we're about to go uphill. But we can't go above 30 because we're still well into that turn. Like, we go over here. Now, before I started to realize that I exceeded the amount of gadgets I was allowed to play with, I had like a little distance counter up here that if I actually added up all of my cars and I could get a proper train length, I would be able to set the counter and I would know when I'm clear of the 30. Alright, we're pulling pretty hard. So, reinstalling some of the gadgets is on the list of things I intend to do once I know that my mods are working again. I can't remember if this is also... Oh yeah, it's a Y junction. Yeah, we're good. We can only go up to 40 in this section, so keeping it around 30 is going to be fine. Step it up a little bit. Oh no. Alright. Yep. It's going right towards the sawmill. Progress. Let me guess. Oh, we can go 120. No, we can go 60. I mean, that's close enough, I guess. I say that, but it's less than half. Or it is half. This part you can go 70, but we're going downhill still. So maybe the mountains are on the other side of the river. Alright, 60 and uphill. Steep uphill. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,005, 1,006, 1,007, 1,008, 1,009, 1,010, 1,000. Alright. Alright. Now the thing is, like, somewhere around here, on like an older engine like this, there'd be a little sticker that says, wait 10 seconds before switching between power and dynamic. So that's why I count to 10. The really funny part is I'm not an engineer. I'm a conductor. I got the crash course in how to use an engine when I became a remote operator. We're not even in the sea yard. Alright. Well, that was a little bit crazy. Yeah, we're not even in C, we're in B. Alright, this is C3. Alright, so that's going to put us right there, that's going to put us right there. And then we go up here, open this, open that. This is going to be on receive. And this one is going to be on transmit. Let's grab this. Now we're going to go over to about here, because we got to go into that yard. Yeah, it's down to 21%. Let's set the train brake. Alright, let's set that. Alright, and we're going to leave this for the next time that I play, because otherwise my remotes are, well, one of them's going to die. Arguably the one I need the most. So, as a bit of a recap of what we've managed to accomplish in this stream, I started in the harbor, picked out a couple of orders, built the train, set up distributed power, and brought the train to the sawmill. And about going on 3 hours is pretty decent amount of time, honestly, especially considering I haven't streamed for like 6 months or something like that. So, I'm not sure exactly when the next time that I stream will be. And I'm even less sure of what the next game that I play will be. But this has been Derail Valley. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you have a nice day.